Alright, Diablo players, Season 11's Necromancer buffs and nerfs. Let's check them out from the PTR notes. So first off, Book of the Dead is getting some changes with the Golem. So the respawn timer reduced from 20 to 10 seconds, so that's going to be a buff. And then it says, if Golem's active ability targets an enemy, your skeletal warriors and mages will focus their attacks on the target. So that's kind of cool. And then unstoppable duration when using the Golem's active is increased from 1.5 to 3 seconds, so it's another buff. But overall, I mean, like, this is like just straight up buffs. There's a massive nerf to Fortification everywhere, so it's not just Necromancer that's getting these, but it says Skeleton Mage Bone, so the Fortify on attack is reduced from 3% to 0.1% of maximum life, so it's a massive nerf over there. The skills Corpse Explosion, so that's getting a buff over here, so maybe you can lock in with a Black River Explosion build. I mean, it's a small buff, but it's pretty nice for open world content. And then we also have a buff to the Blighted Corpse Explosion, so it's getting a buff. And then Bone Spear, ooh, this is actually a nerf. I knew this was going to happen. I saw the Melted Heart Salignal was getting super excited about its change, and I'm like, well, they're probably going to nerf it. They did. So a lot of the skills with Necromancer, there's even like some with Sorc with like Serpentine, where like you get like a big bonus on like how many amount of resources that you're spending, because it will like consume all your resources. You get a big damage bonus. Unfortunately, everything is mostly getting caps right now, and so Bone Spirit will also have this maximum 500. That's the number that they're using as a reference, but I mean, I just wish it has been good before, but like I just like the idea of no caps in an action RPG. It's like let someone build their character, get that big number, man. But Kellen's Edict, so previously your minions would gain attack speed and increase damage for each active minion. When one of your minions dies, they enrage over here. Now it's your minions gain 40% attack speed and 40% increased damage. When one of your minions die, your other minions are enraged. So I guess, I don't know if there was a cap for this one, like you can have a bunch of minions, but nonetheless, it's probably going to be better in the earlier stages, but worse in the later stages when you would run one of the aspects that gives you like additional like 3 like extra skeletal mages and like couple skeleton warriors like as a bonus. But nonetheless, it's kind of like it's probably a give and take. I don't know how many minions you can have. Actually, we have quite a bit in this gameplay right here. I don't know if it actually has like a number that it shows as far as like how many skeleton mages we can get. I don't know if there's a, is it 14? I think that might be the number. So if you can get 14, what is the math on that? All right, I just did the math, guys. It's 42. So, I mean, is it really that big a difference? Nah, not really. It's basically the same, but, like, you don't need the aspect. So, it is a nerf at the higher end, but it's a buff on the smaller end. So, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I wouldn't care about it. Necrotic Carapace, that's a pretty big nerf over there. From 5% to 0.2. Drain Vitality. Fortify got reduced. Divided by 5 over here. 2.5 to 0.5, and we have Supernatural Blood Surge. So now, while Fortified, Blood Surge deals increased damage. Now, how it used to work is you are fortified, and when you have fortified, you get to deal 50%. Okay, so it's a buff overall. It's another 15% to Blood Surge if you want to play that. Then we have Initiate's Hemorrhage, so it is able to grant you maximum life as Fortify instead of it being 1.6, now it's 1% of your maximum life, and has a 3% chance to fortify you for 100%. Before it was a 1.5. So wait, this is kind of a buff. It's like a buff and a nerf, whatever. It probably doesn't really matter too much. And then we have the legendary aspects over here. So it's aspect of Hungry Blood. So the previous one was for like Blood Lance. It would launch an additional lance, so it still does that. And then it deals 60 to 100% of its normal damage. Let's see. An additional Blood Lance and a nearby enemy when it first hits an enemy that is already lanced. Okay. Okay, what? Now it's able to launch an additional Blood Lance and nearby enemies when it first hits an enemy. Okay, so it doesn't have to be already like lanced. So I guess that would be make it a little bit faster. All of these extra ranks on a bunch of the things. I don't know if this is a buff or a nerf, but nonetheless, we're getting more like ranges on the rolls of these. And then we have a change to the Mutilator Plate. So it's giving you some Fortification over here getting reduced. So you go from 4% to 1%. Maximum Life Affix is replaced with Maximum Life Affix, so no percent. So this is probably going to be a nerf. Again, they're trying to make the game harder, so I basically expect to be a little bit more squishy. Damage reduction from enemies affected by blood skills replaced with Intelligence Affix. And then we have Kasim's Legacy. Inherent Blood Wave fortifies affix removed. Damage reduction while fortified affix replaced with intelligence. So again, they're trying to make the game harder. This will technically give you more resistances, but still overall probably going to make it a little bit more squishy. Endear's Memory. Wow, this is really long. Okay, so before Bloodwave's additional is a bone skill that spawns a bone prism at its endpoint and increases your blood skill damage by up to 40 for 8 seconds when cast. All bone spears are additionally blood skills. Your bone spears consume a corpse to launch another bone spear that drains 10% of your max life. Now, Bone Spear does 20% additional damage and is a blood skill. Casting Bone Spear will launch another Bone Spear if it can consume a nearby corpse, and 5%. So this is basically making it easier for you, unless you need to reduce it for a reason. The inherent affix where Bone Spear reduces Bloodwave's cooldown has been removed. Damage reduction while injured affix replaced with Intelligence affix. Maximum percent is now flat. So again, that's usually seen as a nerf. Then we have Greaves of the Empty Tomb. Damage reduction from corrupted enemies is replaced with Intelligence. So again, it's a buff to damage, but nerf to survivability. And a lot of classes are getting this change as well. And then the Unmaker, damage reduction while you have a barrier is replaced with cooldown reduction. With Curious Embrace, we have maximum life replaced with Intelligence, so more or less HP in the build now. And then we also have Minions have a chance to fortify, reducing. It went from up to 20% to 7%, so that's going to be another nerf over there. And then with the Paragon Gravekeeper Glyph, the legendary bonus now includes damage to injured enemies, so that should be a buff. Blood Drinker Fortify reduced from 10% to 3% of max life, so that's going to be another nerf to Fortification. Fortify reduced from 4% to 1% with the Exhuman Glyph. The damage reduction got increased, so it's a little bit more survivability, and then the duration got changed over here. So overall, is there anything to get super excited about? There is a brand new Golem one. Let me just go ahead and highlight that because, you know, I want to at least show you guys something cool here. Even though I didn't really want to make this video all about the new uniques, we didn't really get to see too many good things about the Necromancer. Okay, so this is a brand new one-handed mace. This is their brand new tool in Season 11. So we have increased attack speed on, they call it inherent, but it's implicit, it's the same thing. It gives you some int, some maximum life, and we have a chance for Golem to hit twice. There's also +2 Golem mastery. But the thing that makes it really cool, which basically is like the tall man's finger or something like that, it's another item in Diablo 3 that's getting introduced. So you get to raise 3 smaller golems that each deal 40 to 60% of normal damage. But if you have, again, 3 of them, that should be 180% in total in damage. And then you also gain 30% attack speed, and then also the golems spawn faster, and they change that from, 20 to 10. I don't know if that goes after. I'm assuming it goes after, so they get to respawn quite frequently, but it's not like you have an exploding golem build at the end of the day. So what would I consider, if I was to play Necromancer, is there something to look forward to? Yes, I would try to look at golems to try to have fun with it because it's kind of the newer thing that's coming out. But I still feel like in terms of the nerfs to survivability, that's kind of unfortunate, but the way I see it is at least we have something to maybe try out to see if it's good. Is it going to be beating the Shadow Dot or the well, you can't really play some of the other builds because the new stuff like the Tornado Storm, those are all getting basically removed when the update comes out. So maybe people will go back to Bloodwave, but you guys can let me know. I haven't really played Necromancer that much before Season 10. This is from Season 9 actually, and I would say that in Season 9 I felt like this build was kind of fun, so there's not really any huge nerfs in terms of damage numbers to the current builds, other than the Chaos powers are getting removed. But what is looking like to be the best Necromancer build? I honestly would say maybe look at Bloodwave, but if there's any other Necro players out there, let me know how you feel about the new updates. Are you guys excited about it, or are you guys disappointed? Honestly, Necromancer wasn't the tankiest class, and now that's getting more squishy with all the Fortification nerfs. Again, I wouldn't say that I'm super excited to lock in and play, unless it was the Golem build, because that would be kind of fun, but it's still an AI build, and not everyone enjoys AI, so I get that. But anyways, that's the new Necromancer changes in Season 11 for the PTR notes.